What's up, everyone? It is episode 127 and our very first episode of 2026. We also had our first, or it's crazy. It's actually been our first year since we saw each other. Just because last year we did our last episode in 2025. But how's everyone doing?
Well, it's one of those mornings. It's production and delivery day where we all get to find out uh, something that matters less and less every quarter. And we've been trying to tell people this for years. These are, by some metrics, very disappointing numbers. Wall Street's reaction is, right. We have moved on to the next thing, which is energy, autonomy, robotics. The cars are still an important part of the business and they'll remain so for the foreseeable future. But I don't know. I'm pleased with the results, and especially in terms of energy. I'm looking for some big numbers next quarter. And personally, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'm
Joe.
good. I have an elbow. Both of them are working. Life's good over here, guys.
Awesome, man. Yeah, no, doing good, man. Just I think we were just talking a little bit about how crazy, even in the Tesla world, we were just talking about how crazy the year was, how crazy it was, how polarizing it was to be an owner at one point, to how the year ended, with even Elon's package, compensation package from 2018 getting finally approved or appealed. And then the other thing is that his $1 trillion package. But yeah, it's just been a crazy year. So looking forward to what 2026 has to bring. But all right, well, let's jump into it.
Oh, but you guys didn't tell me about your elbows.
Working great.
Okay, good. Mine as well. We're okay.
Thankfully. All right. Well, actually, I wanted to back up to this because Joe, I love this image, man. Quick shout out to Insta360. I love their Action Pro cameras along with their 360 cameras, especially if you are ever trying to make sure you get any shot when you're taking some footage, you will never miss any angle. All right, so the stock opening up a little bit soft. I think it was at 475, so it's down, but I just because it's a new year, I showed the year over year, which is about up 18%, but down from what it is. But I've seen it, typically, every at the beginning of every year, there's always this like, as we know, last year with Trump, the stock went to all-time highs, at least at that point, and has now obviously softened a little bit in the year. So at least what the things that I've observed over the past couple of years. All right, Joe, I'll pass this one to you, man.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows this, but the Tesla Q4 numbers are out for 2025. Everybody saw this? Just kidding. Hey, Brian, since we know that cars are to Tesla what books are to Amazon, what did you have predicted for this?
I said I was very close. Let me see if I can find. I was at 406,942 on deliveries, so awfully close.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and it's yeah, that's within what 0.5% or something. No, something like that. But it's I guess 1% ish. I was off, but I was desperately worried because I was the lowest of all the prognosticators, and I was still very close. But all of us are doing, it is obvious now, our own research, our own numbers. Gary Black, maybe not so much, but I think he just takes Troy's second to last number. But it's yeah, the for how soft Q4 should have been with the IRA hangover, it did pretty good. There was, of course, no IRA hangover in other countries, so those markets were not affected, but the US is a very big market for Tesla. And there were a number of sales that had come in during Q3 that were able to be booked into Q4. So that allowed them to still carry some momentum into the quarter. But I don't know how many vehicles that was. Yeah, in terms of vehicles, fine. It's fine. In terms of energy, it beat estimates. And even still, there's room to grow because we're seeing between Lathrop and Shanghai alone, we can average 20 gigawatt hours per quarter, and that would be fantastic. So a lot of opportunity to grow, but still a decent quarter. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Hans, what did you think about this quarter's deliveries?
Yeah, I mean, with the end of the IRA tax credits this year, it does make the year sequence a little bit different than normal. Usually Q4 would be, like significantly better than Q3, and all of that's off. I think this is pretty reasonable for expectations. And the thing that I'm really looking forward to is, when do we start Cybercab production and deliveries? Like, that's the really most important next thing. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the show. But yeah, I don't pay too much attention to these. Just like, hey, they're, in the ballpark of where they should be based on how the business is operating globally. I don't see anything that are huge red flags. And so I just kind of move on and look back to other, core leading indicators, like how's the FSD stack coming, and where, what does that tell us about what we should expect for Cybercab, and those types of questions.
Yeah, Joe, did you have any thoughts?
No, I think Hans is right on. There's gonna be some telling things, especially when it comes to FSD and for the Cybercab, because I mean they haven't even started rolling out any of the wireless charging yet, and anybody who's seen a Cybercab knows that it doesn't have any charge ports. So yeah, there's some things that they got to figure out, and I don't see them making this a for sale to customers right away. I think they're gonna try and, I mean, like you said, we're gonna talk about this later in the deck because I put it in there, but I'm pretty sure, like, for what they've done for the beginning of for the ending of the year, and like everybody has mentioned, I mean, there is no IRA attached to what happened in the fourth quarter, so these are just basics. And then you see the pullback from legacy auto, like, oh yeah, we can't, we're going to hybrids, and we're we're selling diesel now and everything else like that. Just like the fear, even after seeing what Tesla has done over the years and what they continue to do, it's just like, y'all don't want any of this, like, it's whatever.
So I did something fun. I interviewed Max from Robo Rides, a FSD testing channel. He's got hundreds of videos stress testing FSD in Manhattan. And he had an idea the other day. What if I just use this at my car as a guided tour? Hey, Grok, pull up all the stops along the that all the red bus hop on hop off bus does, and
Oh,
add them to my navigation. And he followed it, and then he would just ask questions about things around him. So I went to the train station, parked, and said, I'm at the train station. What, tell me where I am, tell me about this place, tell me what's historically interesting, and let's go there. And it put stuff on the drive, and we went, and it wasn't perfect, but it's not designed for this. This is just something it kind of does. So that's pretty insane. I've got the video coming out next week, but it is it already most like 95-98% works as a guided tour of the town. And maybe some of the information is a little bit off, but I don't know if you've ever taken a tour. Not most of the information is off. That's just how those tours work. So at least in that regard, it's modeling a human perfectly. So your car, and it did all the driving, it did all the explaining. I just had to ask questions. It was insane. And this is something no one sees coming, except us. And unfortunately, the crowd who knows is limited to people already watching this. So we got to figure out a way to get the word out.
yeah, yeah, I think even when you put it like that way, you forget that, this is truly, especially with V14, we're truly at that point where, there's still some work that needs to be done, but clearly those things that software stack is working on their Model Ys that they're already doing in Austin and the Bay Area. But once the Cybercab comes, as they're testing right now, like, that software build should be ready to go. But again, it's going to be based on safety, ramp, and regulations and all that stuff. But yeah, no, as far as I think it's kind of I remember, I forgot how many years ago, but I remember there came a point when Apple stopped focusing on, reporting their iPhone business. And it's interesting too. I think it was about less than a week ago where Tesla just put out their projections for I think the next 4 or 5 years, right? And it's because I think that's one thing that Tesla did not do. They haven't really given guidance in a while. I feel like the past like 18 months, I feel like they haven't really been giving guidance on annual targets. So now they're starting to do that, but it's as you guys have said, it's like it's kind of crazy that, how long has this company been around? 23 years, whatever the number is, or 20 years. Just to think that they are at that point now where it's like, oh yeah, we do cars, but it's not, and I think it's good that I think this is the reason why I got so heavily involved because I knew it was the future, but everyone else is not everyone, but a lot of people are the lights are starting to turn on, but also at the same time, there's still most of the world has no idea. And I think your example, Brian, just gave me chills because it's like, yeah, at what point then why are you going to even rent, go on these red buses anymore? When you get to LA, go rent a Tesla, and again, who knows, just rent it through Turo and do the same thing as long as you get one of the newer ones, say, hey, what are all the top red bus stops in LA? Take me to them and teach me as I go, right? And it's like it's just kind of game over for some of the tourism in some of these places, right?
Rent
It's
it from Tesla. They're
exactly.
expanding that rental network.
Yes.
It's
Pretty crazy.
And the red bus doesn't stop when you want to go to the bathroom. It doesn't let you say, I want to see more. Show me more architecture. Show me more film history. Show me more, whatever it is. It's your tour.
Exactly. Hans, were you going to say something?
And that'll also be something that you'll be able to do in the cybercab in the not too distant future. You don't have to, rent the car. You just, hey, ride hail network, come pick me up and take me on this cool tour and talk to me the whole time. Like Grok's going to be part of that experience as well. And yeah, this is one of the cool things about platform technology shifts is that all of a sudden, all types of things that you didn't really think about being addressable services and things that you can monetize and deliver to customers become possible, and all sorts of people then take advantage of that and create new businesses. And it's always really exciting to see what are all those things going to be that we didn't really expect, we didn't plan for, that just emerge on top of a technology stack that's cheaper, faster, easier, better, all at the same time.
Exactly. So jumping into this real quick, call out on the energy storage deployment. What is it? 46.7 gigawatt hours, and then this past quarter is 14.2 gigawatt hours. But yeah, just crazy. So yeah, and then just I think a couple of things, right? Wow, that's a lot of business. Wall Street can get excited about.
It's a lot of growth.
Exactly. But yeah, 622 vehicles, 623,000 vehicles, essentially 48% year-over-year growth. And then also too, just I think we can see that the combination has delivered a total of I'm just gonna say it, 2.26 million vehicles, and it's up 2% over last year and 12% over the last 2 years. Also, Tesla has been expanding the capacity of this business to at least 1.2 million 75 kilowatt vehicle equivalents, a 2x increase over the last 12-month deliveries. So the outlook is pretty positive. But yeah, it's just they're just continuing to deliver. But yeah, I think
Well,
Joe,
I think the thing to focus on here is that they have really mastered the art of producing and selling profitable EVs at scale, and that capability and all the assets that go into being able to do that are kind of sitting there and humming along nicely while we lay the groundwork for that, cybercab next phase of the business. And it's basically, working and humming perfectly And then as soon as all of the regulatory environment and, FSD software progress gets to the point of maturity that they're ready to go ahead and turn on that cybercab line, that we'll see that huge ramp up in production, and then the production will be allocated towards a much, much more profitable cash generating business, that you won't have to sell a car one time and make a few $1,000s on it. You will build a car for a tiny fraction of what that car will earn for you over the lifetime of its use, and it will create lots of recurring revenue for you, and that completely transforms the economics of the business. But you have to have that manufacturing capability down pat first. And so, all of the production and deliveries that we've seen here has been the buildup of that capability with inside of Tesla. And this is something that Waymo doesn't have, they never will have, and they will be unable to compete with Tesla long term in the robotaxi market because they don't have this core competency, and it's a must have in the future of autonomous ride hail networks.
Yeah,
They're missing a few pieces, and it makes what they're doing expensive. You can't build a car, you can't upfit a car, you don't have any logistics between the 2 points, and it's going to make your rides just more expensive. I asked my viewers, who on earth is going to still drive one of these, ride in one of these, and a guy said, "Oh, I know who. Somebody who gets 4x points on their credit card for taking rides with Uber and Lyft or Waymo, as it may be. They'll, if you get 4x points and you can expense it, do that instead." And then, but other than that, I don't know. I'm not sure who would pay for something that's more expensive but not better.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think I kind of have a correction to make for myself. I think it's more of what Tesla put on their website was the delivery expectations from the consensus analysts or shared analysts, not their own. So I have to make sure I corrected that. But yeah, I think so they delivered what is the exact number? 418,000, and I think the consensus was around seen at 423,000. So they're within, what is it, that 0.5% or whatever the number is, within what I think the analysts were kind of expecting. And then shout out to the Giga Nevada team, 6 million drive units. And then I believe they just also celebrated 9 million vehicles. So sorry if that's on another slide, but
it's there.
Yeah, it's crazy. But Joe, I'll pass this one to you.
Yeah, this is David Moss's pretty incredible dude, man. Hasn't touched the steering wheel in what seems like forever. It's pretty wild. But I mean, for any of us who drive FSD, we know what's possible, and so we see this. But Elon has got to be more wordy about things that are like groundbreaking. It is cool. It's like, hey man, this guy just did 11,000 miles without touching the steering wheel once, and you're just like, hey, good for you, guy.
They're like, cool.
Yeah. I mean, this is the coast to coast drive that Elon talked about. Hey, this is going to be possible. And, it was, I think he started saying that type of thing somewhere around 2018-ish, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And he was thinking, next year, maybe next year. And it has definitely taken a little while longer to figure out how to accomplish that on a sensor stack that costs you less than $3,000 for your cameras and your computers all in. But they have accomplished it. It's something that Waymo, with its $50,000 worth of sensors and computers, still can't do today. And it is a great testament to how general the system is. Yes, a lot of those miles are going to be on the highway, but there's also a lot of miles that are not on the highway. And you do have to go through small towns, small cities. You've got to get off the freeway and back on again. And none of those things are things that are within side of the capabilities of any other system that's out there right now, much less the reliability to get 100%, a perfect score every single mile from coast to coast, fully autonomous. And that reliability piece to go from even 98% of your miles to 100% of your miles, that's a lot of extra effort. And the ability to do that is very impressive. It's cool that we finally have crossed this milestone now. And I think it is a great setup for 2026 and what FSD is going to be capable of this year.
Well, I would say, so Elon did say, yeah, we should be able to do a demo next year. And that's been the source of endless criticism that it hasn't happened. But do you want a system that's overfit to do one task as a demonstration once? Or do you want a system that can actually scale, that's actually got all the pieces you need? So when you look at, like, why aren't they driverless in the boring tunnel? Well, because as soon as they go driverless in the boring tunnel, they're going to have to create a fork. They would have had to create a fork for that. And now you've got two different sets to maintain. That's ridiculous. So instead, we're just going to make the main stack capable of doing absolutely everything and deal with it then. You say most of those miles were highway miles, which are easier, and that's true. Waymo, may I see you on the highway, please? Seldom and only recently. So it's, to us, it's the thing we've been most confident in for the longest. Waymo was brand new at that game, so they wouldn't have even tried it. And then you've got, the idea that that you can actually go 100%. You can. I'm sure I could go 100%, but it doesn't, do the drive-through at the bank. I need to do the drive-through at the bank. I will disengage for that. But if I was to do a demo like Mr. Moss did, great. Wherever you want to park me is fine. And the last thing on that is Waymo can't drive itself to a charging station because it don't got charging stations. So you've got to look at all the benefits that come in. There's in the US, there's nothing like it. In China, they're working on it. They're getting closer. But really, in the US, there is no second place.
So one of the outstanding things that Brian kind of hinted on, which is pretty cool, is that, I mean, you see this with a lot of the other vehicles. I mean, we know what's capable and what's not capable. Yeah, Waymo can't. They wouldn't even attempt this. This is like pretty crazy. But all the talk of how, ahead other auto companies are, and it's exactly the same. I can do this exactly in my Hyundai. Like, no, you can't. And Tesla just keeps furthering that lead. The other part of that is fate loves irony, because David Moss is a LiDAR salesman for for business. So it's pretty ironic that he's the guy that did it first.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, what was mentioned is by both Hans and Brian and even you, Joe, is just like there is no clear second here. Sure, is Waymo, starting now to do highways a little bit in the Bay Area? They're doing it, again, there's just a certain gap that they're doing it. But again, you're talking maybe what is it, like 4 or 5 days worth of driving where you're not touching the wheel, where you're not giving any human input. You might be pressing the accelerator, but again, there is no other option that you can go and buy a car today and say, hey, navigate the whole way through. And it's an enjoyable drive. Sure, it might take you a little bit extra amount of time, but at the end of the day, it's just the driving experience is completely different when you have a car that is driving you. The ride is just so much better and enjoyable, and it becomes about the journey versus, like, I remember I would try to get down to LA and I would bomb down there in like 5 hours from here to Orange County. And now it takes me a little bit longer, but I enjoy it. I get to see I get to enjoy the ride as I transition from 101 to the Highway 5. And like I said, it just becomes a completely different drive. And like I said, I do agree with Hans on the fact, if it was you that mentioned, I can't recall, but like that they need to make a big deal about this. They should get the Tesla video team out there to talk to him about the experience, and showcase this. And because this is the first, I think there's even a couple of websites that have he's uploaded his miles to, just to track everything. He's shown all the charging stops, and thrown all that stuff there. And actually, this guy David, he came to the X Takeover last year. I was talking to him as he was like kind of sharing all the stuff. So, and he drove his Cybertruck down from Seattle all the way down to the Bay Area for the takeover. So this guy's a real guy. It's not like he's some fake nomad guy that no one's ever heard of. He's definitely a guy in the community. He's been on X Spaces. And I think shout out to our friend Ross, who was like, "Oh, well, anyone can handle 3 highways." It's like, what's option B? Give me an option B. What is even close? You can take a Waymo from what, San Francisco to San Carlos maybe, but you're not going to be able to take it across. It doesn't matter if it's easy or, again, and as Hans was saying, you still have to navigate through all of the, exiting, picking, navigating to your hotels, potentially if you need to stop earlier because you have to go to the bathroom. I mean, whatever it is, it's just it doesn't matter. And so people, I think, and shout out to Fred, not that we should be bringing up these people, but he was like, "Oh, he of course he didn't record it." And it's like, no, there's multiple websites that have tracked the whole thing, and then a screenshot. If you want him to do a live recording, you're literally talking even down to the point miles. It's all 100%. It's not like a quarter. So like it's not 99%, it's 100%. And I think he's over 11,200 miles now or something insane like that. So yeah, go ahead, Brian. Oh, I thought you were gonna say something.
I was just gonna say I thought he did record it, but
Yeah, I think he was with
60
Kyle.
plus hours.
He's with Kyle, so I'm pretty sure they made a video.
Yeah.
But if it's 60
most boring video
hours,
of all time.
well, and just stitching it together and uploading it is gonna take a hot minute, because I don't know what YouTube's limit on duration is. And you could post them with, overlap where the last minute of the previous 6-hour video is the first minute of the next one, but it's still going to be a hot minute. And if it is, again, on my car, I think I'm at 100 now. It rounds to 100, but it is on my car. I'm definitely at 100. My son's car, I think, is at 99, but that it doesn't matter. You can see it to the point of a mile. That's the part that matters. Any kind of disengagement shows up, to me at least, as a 1/10 of a mile. Or more. I don't remember, but it's crazy.
Yeah, I did 100,000 miles on the Cybertruck, and I'm at 99%. I think I'm off by like 40 miles or something like that. But it's only because my wheels are so wide that when it backs into the Chargers, I have to like 8-point turn.
You don't want to destroy your your truck by turning too much. But yeah, it's just wild.
Yeah.
All right, so this is kind of one thing that we wanted to talk about. Cybercab in production. And Elon. So this ended up being in the 2025 recap, and I think everyone initially was like, "Oh, they're starting to make Cybercabs," and it's like just testing the production system. So, and again, I think one thing I wanted to mention here before we get into kind of like what this means and any thoughts on this, but is that remember that Tesla has the unboxed method, which means that this vehicle is being made in 4 different production lines and then is all brought together at some point in the process, but they're all being made simultaneously, the 4 pieces, and then brought together. So it's really, I mean, this is going to be the probably the most efficient and low cost vehicle potentially ever made. I mean, obviously we'll see what the stats are once they ramp it. But I feel like we're in this era now where, remember when the Model Y came out, the Cybertruck, you're seeing them all over the streets, right? And we also know that this software and the build it needs to calibrate and be tested. That's why you're seeing like the Model Y is being tested fully, fully autonomously in Austin right now. But you do see, when you see the Cybercab, even here in the Bay Area, you're seeing them with the steering wheel. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, before a vehicle is released and gone into mass production, the amount that we're seeing it is similar to what you're seeing now. And so it really is an exciting time. And potentially the production ramp will start in April. But now they're working out all the kinks, making it efficient. And thankfully, this is not their first rodeo. this will be their first vehicle ever made like this with the unbox method, but just still a very, very exciting time. But what are your guys' thoughts on when you saw this in the deck and when
Well,
Elon commented on it?
pretty sure their first rodeo was in 22, Cyber Rodeo, but this is
True.
exciting. This is exciting to see. And I had a number of people say, I'm looking at this and this doesn't look like an unboxed method. This looks like a regular production line. There's not enough data here to reach that conclusion. I cannot see them abandoning unboxed at this point, especially since the shape of the lines is already more or less built. I know a number of people who have been permitted to see it but not comment much on it, and they said it does not look like a traditional line to them. So it is exciting. I'm excited to see it. If a gigapress has a 1 minute cycle time and you want to make cars faster than 1 a minute, are they going to dedicate 6 casting machines to making each? It's crazy to think about. It's exciting, and they'll get it done because they always do. And in terms of cost, look at how cheap you can get a Model 3, and then think how much simpler this vehicle is. Every aspect of it is simpler in terms of part count, in terms of build time, build complication. I had a chance to interview a gentleman who had worked at Faraday Future, and he was a robotics engineer. He helped, put together the line that was supposed to build them. And when he saw Unboxed, he couldn't believe it. And when he saw just the castings, he looked at the castings and said, that eliminates so much footprint. Everything Tesla does is about ridiculous efficiency. And they're going to have, because of the proposed ramp of this, slow at first and building over time, they're going to have an opportunity to get that well-oiled machine running very, very well. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm equally excited. I think that what Tesla's embarking on, even though the vehicle looks simple, is a very complex endeavor, and they are masters of manufacturing. So I have no doubt that they can pull this off. But the simplicity of the design and everything, the engineering that goes into it is very complex, and watching them be able to take an idea, realizing that cars have made this way for all these years, and then realizing that it can be better. You know what I mean? Like, nobody reinvents the wheel, but somebody decided to anyways because they needed to. And Tesla's just one of those companies that just looks at things and being like, oh, okay, I know you've been doing it that way, but we don't have to do it that way, and so we're not going to. So that's pretty awesome.
I mean, this is the holy grail of Tesla's midterm future. Until we see, some huge leaps and bounds in robotics progress. Like, I wouldn't expect anything major from Optimus as far as revenue generation or anything is concerned for Tesla for quite some time. And the Cybercab is the big fish that Tesla they have to figure this out. They have to get it right. And they are really accomplishing, like we talked about earlier, like, this is a transformation of everything about the business model, the technology. Like, we're talking about a car that costs way less than $30,000 to produce, that is capable of better levels of self-driving than Waymo can accomplish. And by the end of 2027, it will be clear that Tesla has more level 4 autonomous vehicles, more cumulative autonomous rides, and more cumulative autonomous level 4 miles than Waymo. And all of that is based on the capabilities of this Cybercab. And there's a lot that goes into that. It is extremely complicated, like Joe said. But this is, if Waymos right now were the equivalent of like a 1990s era workstation computer, the Cybercab is an iPhone. And the scalability of the workstation computer compared to the iPhone will be similar. And that's what Tesla has been working so hard on, is getting everything about the Cybercab, from the way that the autonomous software works to the way that they make these things, to all be able to scale to millions of units per year, billions of rides per year, and reaching hundreds of millions and eventually potentially over a billion customers. And all of those things are the things that are going to be required in order to stay relevant in a world where AI defines what transportation looks like. And this is the transition that Elon has seen coming for a number of years and has been working so diligently to prepare Tesla, the company, for. And this is why he has pivoted the focus of the company so strongly to this one product, that we're not going to get distracted with lots of other things where we could make decent vehicles, we could make money. But if we don't nail this, if we don't get this right, we as a company become irrelevant. Or if we do get this right, we can define what human transportation looks like for the next several decades.
Man, I got to tell you guys, this is a good podcast. If you guys should watch this podcast. It's good stuff. Mics are being dropped, you guys. I don't know if you guys are paying attention. I don't know. I just thought I'd say.
We're here every week. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love that analogy, Hans, that you said, and it just gave me like I remember again 3.5 years ago, when we were sitting in that room in Austin, overlooking the Model Y production line in Austin, when we were interviewing Elon for 4 hours, and obviously things have kind of changed since then, as far as because now we got robots and stuff. But he said, whether Tesla was worth what it is today at that time versus what it will be, or zero, was autonomy. And again, things have changed because now it's amazing abundance versus just transportation and all this in it. And but either way, it's the I like I said, after I think the kind of the whole Doge thing happened, right? I think he learned several big lessons. And it was actually, I think, very sobering, but also too, knowing him as a human, he was obviously very frustrated too with how much effort he had put into that. But what ended up happening from that, we saw as the Walter Isaacman book, a huge surge. Elon came back. He's like, guys, I've been on partial vacation, whatever you want to call it, and I'm back, and these are the big things that we need to solve. And thankfully, and I've never personally seen a company that is able to, not only build the best products in the world initially, right? But then every vehicle afterwards, outside of the ones that are built on kind of the same base, they are able to say, this was the standard. How do we reinvent that? Because so many of these companies, you see it here in the Bay Area, that come and go, right? Like, where's Tesla's engineering headquarters? They're literally using the same parking lot as HP. And it's because that company is dying. They own the land, so it's super expensive. But they're either renting or they have bought that land from HP. But it's one of those things where even the Meta sign, if you ever go visit the Meta sign, it used to be the thumbs up. Now it's got the Meta, the infinite kind of like logo. On the back of it is Sun Microsystems, which is now owned by Oracle. And it's one of those things where, why did Zuckerberg has spoken about this publicly? Why did he keep that? It's because it's a remembrance of what's behind in the past. You don't want that sign to flip and it to be you. So never getting comfortable with, never always be comfortable being uncomfortable. But I've never seen a company work like that. We're seeing Apple go through that right now, where they've been so comfortable to a fault that now the leadership is being tables are being turned over. They're revamping. There's a bunch of reorgs and other things like that are happening. And this is also, and they just have not innovated in a way where's been the last iPhone. The Apple Vision Pro was a good step in mixed reality, where we're headed. Meta, as we know, is betting big on it with their glasses. But it's one of those things where I've never seen a company just continue to stay massively ahead of the game, right? Continuously. I mean, this is 2 decades now. And again, Apple has been doing it with their iPhone up until like recently. But and now you have the Cybercab, which is, as we're seeing here, it's just, we saw it during the shareholder meeting, the way that they were building this. Like, I personally, I'm not a big production guy, but the way I've seen the way that they've currently built cars to the way that they've done this, it's night and day. I mean, you're talking like apples and elephants here, right? And for them to be able to do that and reinvent the wheel. And again, this is not just a hypothesis. This has gone through in the Tesla world. It's gone through in and out. That means it's happening. We're starting to see it in the Bay Area. We're starting to see it in Austin. They are running towards this, and we are seeing consumers, private citizens, able to buy this product, do cross country, 11,000 miles, 100%. So it's just, there's still areas I do have some disengagements, even with V14. Especially on Mad Max mode, because it's probably going too fast and sometimes can't transition over. But it's one of those things where there is no clear second here. And what's interesting too, if you think of taxis, sorry for this long rant. If you think of taxis, the thing that's gonna Tesla won't be able to do is the Denali's and SUVs, because so if you're talking more than 4 or 5 people, that's going to be a market that they're going to have to sit out on until the Rebobbin comes, right? But outside of that, I mean, this is just, again, I hope other companies are in the mix, but there is no clear second. And even Legacy Auto in America is even going to be further behind, because they're not even making vehicles that can place the cameras in the right spots to at least license the software. Instead, they're doubling down on LiDAR, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, there's
yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just gonna say real quick that that it's pretty profound what they're doing, first of all. But Sandy Monroe used to have a statement about how Tesla works at the speed of thought, and like you said, John, there's just no company that always tries to put itself out of business, and I mean, and Tesla just constantly does that. So go ahead, Brian.
Oh, they absolutely do. Why would you build a Model 3 if it's going to cannibalize S sales? Why would you build an X if it's going to cannibalize S sales? And the Model Y, it's going to be so much bigger. But if we don't do it, someone else will. And, the limousine crowd for prom, I could see a Rebovin with a Optimus dressed up fancy. Why not?
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's not actually driving, but he'll stand next to the door. Sure.
Yeah.
Just a little add-on.
Exactly. All right, Joe, you want to talk about the brand damage?
Yeah, no, yeah, this company is it's in bed. It's a state of repair, you guys. So what we have here is they aren't selling very well. I mean, we've seen the numbers. It's the best-selling vehicle for 23, 24, and 25, and who knows what's going to happen for 2026. But 9 millionth vehicle globally. It just rolled off the production line at Giga Shanghai. So that was pretty awesome. But Elon said here, Tesla Model Y is now officially the world's best-selling car for the 3rd year in a row. So they have their numbers. They haven't fully. I think we have now. We have it, but we didn't have it at the time of this, which is why Fred was so quick to hop on Grok and get his comments. But he will not make a retraction. I guarantee you he won't do a retraction.
Of course, because he got the engagement he wanted. But yeah, also too, a huge reminder that I don't know if they shared exactly whether it was 6 weeks or 8 weeks that they shut down 3 factories, production lines across the world globally. I guess no, 4 factories, right? Across the world. 4 gigafactories for the Model Y production line to revamp this, and they all did it simultaneously. And that's one thing I remember Lars mentioning how big of a feat is. Who in what world has ever taken the best-selling car in the world, shut it down for 4 to 8 weeks, however long it was, across 3 different continents? It's just crazy.
Well, a little bit of perspective. The F-150 sells very well. It is made in multiple factories, and it used to be, and they of course retool from time to time. But what they do is have 3 to 6 months of inventory out in the wild. So while they're retooling, sales go in uninterrupted. The Lightning being out of production, people are saying, yeah, but we're still going to see some sales posted. Not very many, because those sales are counted not when they go to the customer, but when they go off the books to the dealer. Those sales are almost all counted. There might be a few stragglers, but that's the way the financials are recorded. You will
Right.
see others measure it differently. Probably Kelley Blue Book would measure it by when it goes to the customer. State registration data counts when it goes to the customer, but those sales are done. They are effectively done. So sad to see it go. I was confident that that was a vehicle they were going to actually stand behind, but nope, they want to burn that dino juice.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, no, I think it's a huge shout out to the team. I mean, to be able to hit, like, I actually thought that they may come in second or something just because of, not that they, if they had been fully ramped the whole year, they would have knocked this out of the park. But I was not sure. And the fact that they were still able to shut down the factories across 3 continents, 4 factories itself, um, and not only just, and especially as you said, like, a lot of times it's like every 4 years, these car companies will change the whole look, right? And then every 2 years they'll change like the way the headlights look. This was this was like, they revamped this whole car, the way it was
Yeah.
engineered, completely. Like, and as we know with the Model 3 versus the 2018, 2020 Model 3, they're you're talking way different cars. I mean, the cars that they're making today are, really just crazy. And the way that they drive efficiencies out of these cars. So, if you haven't ever driven a Model Y, it's definitely worth doing. But now, for the third year in a row, it's the best-selling car in the world. So, all right, guys. So now we're starting to see, looks like, potentially crash tests happening. Cybercab castings around Giga Texas casting section, some of the ground and other racks. In addition, more Cybercabs next to the crash testing facility today with some great views, with a few without covers. And then it looks like there 16 Cybercabs spotted at Tesla's Giga Texas crash test facility. And even here, right? Like, so we know that they're revamping how manufacturing for cars can be on top. They've already done it with their current vehicles, but now this is going to completely change that. So now, as you take those 4 parts and you put them together, now how does that withstand production, especially too, because they're making this a low cost vehicle. But I can tell you right now, it is going to be the safest vehicle you can think of when you get into it. Just because it's a low cost vehicle is not going to mean that they're going to make and turn corners on safety ratings. Especially as we know, there's still not every car is going to be autonomous in 5 years, right? So we know people are still going to be road rage, drunk, tired. And so if something, God forbid, happens, you will be safe if you are driving in a fully autonomous robotaxi. So glad to see that. I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
All right, Joe, this one's to you.
Tesla Korea FSD over 1 million miles. This is pretty cool. Korean Tesla owners have surpassed 1 million miles cumulative driving distance with FSD, and that's in just about a month. So, I mean, it's more than that now because this has been on the deck for a couple of weeks. We never get to it. But based on the official coastline length, excluding islands and the northern border, one full lap is approximately 24 kilometers. Very nice. So, I mean, but we knew this, like anybody who uses FSD will continue to use FSD. It just works. And this isn't even in a country where you get the same lights in the street graphics. I mean, if anybody's ever looked at the roads in Korea, I mean, the way the roads are designed is different. They're the way they paint the lines and stuff, it's just like, it's not the same. So just to think they can do this there, they've done it in Australia, they've done it here in America, you know what I mean? And they just, wherever they step out, people just really enjoy FSD. And like we were saying earlier, like, yeah, I can do 100,000 miles in my Cybertruck, right? But I didn't really do that because I was chilling most of the time, and it's a way easier drive, and it's way easier to put these miles on like David Moss did, because you're not stressed. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not with that driver fatigue that happens when you are doing all these miles. So it's a lot more enjoyable to do it And I think a lot of people, like especially in Korea and all these other countries like China and stuff that experience an FSD for the first time, like you're going to see this just continue to grow up exponentially, because once people do it and they realize like, wait, I don't have to do that. Like, no, you can just chill and enjoy yourself.
One thing I'm planning to do is when the video drops of my guided tour of my hometown of Longview here, is posted to the Longview Facebook and subreddits, the local community ones, and say, what do you think? And also, want to go for a ride? Because I'll take you around town. Let's do it. I'm going to shoot it, but let's do it. I think it'd be, I hope this will be an opportunity for people to realize what's happening already, what's already happened. We just got to get the word out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as you said, right? It's just at this point about getting the word out. Hans, were you gonna say something?
100% agreement. It is, yeah. I mean, I've loved my experience on version 14, and on everyday driving and especially on long road trips, it really just is a game changer. And so it is great to see this, expanding to more geographies, because that is, a big deal. It's not easy to deal with all of the differences in how driving occurs in different countries. And so the fact that they can do this is, a good testament to how general of a system Tesla has created. And that is going to be something that serves them well, in the coming few years, as they're trying to actually roll out fully autonomous robo taxis to all of these different places as well.
Yeah, I think the end result is lives saved, right? So I think like people are going to start seeing the safety that's in these vehicles when you have all the vehicles autonomous. I mean, yeah, people like to drive, but man, people also like to text and drive. So here you are. Now you can actually just get in the vehicle, do all your texting or whatever, and just let the vehicle do what it's going to do.
One thing I'm concerned about is in the crash testing, we didn't get to see, I didn't see, it didn't look like to me that it had struck any 19-inch tall fake children mannequins. So I think more testing is needed.
How did you know? How did you know?
The other test that I want to see is, if the cybercab that's not going to drive off a cliff, but if a semi were to push it off of a cliff, will people still survive from, 800-foot drops?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not? Why wouldn't it?
Well, it already did.
Yeah, I mean, it's got all the same safety features. It's not like the roof crushed in a little bit, and that's why the person was okay, was because there was extra roof clearance. The roof did not collapse on the Model Y that went down either of the cliffs we now know about. So it is, I'm confident it'll do as well as any Tesla, because when they change the tests without telling you, which is something that the safety regulators this year were introducing this. When small overlap rigid barrier came out, a lot of cars failed catastrophically, including my old Nissan minivan. It did not have any, I mean, it was grim to watch. And one of the reasons we decided to buy a Tesla, because I care about my family. There, I said it.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, one thing what will be interesting, right, is even the crumple, like, and because you think of like Lars and his team. We've met with the vehicle engineers. Shout out to Eric from Tesla, who is the the lead vehicle engineer. And can you imagine? So the vehicle's now, it's smaller in length and like even like width, but how can they make the metal that is that they're using, or whatever they're using for this, right, even stronger with shorter length and width, right, so that it doesn't potentially crumble or cave when it flips over, and not flip over either, right, because that's another thing, right, is like that it doesn't flip. But yeah, it's just these guys are gonna be making sure that this is if there's a standard, they're gonna go here, right?
Yeah. On that note, it's pretty ironic you mentioned that about flipping over and stuff, because on my way back from LA, I was at the Oasis, and I ran into a guy, and his whole job is designing. He's an airbag engineer for Tesla, and he really liked our Cybertrucks because we have it's all customized and stuff. He was like, man, it's pretty crazy, and he was just telling us what he did and how inspired he's been over the years to watch safety become what it's become, and the people who survive all these crazy falls 800 plus feet, and a guy who has survived with his whole family down that cliff that kills all kinds of people and stuff because of the airbag deployment. Like it's pretty awesome, and he was very excited to talk to people and just just express what he does and his admiration for the job, for the company and everything. And it's just something I really never even thought about, like airbag engineers and stuff like that for Tesla. But I mean, as we know, they go the extra mile, so it's pretty awesome.
At the shareholder meeting, I got to meet an engineer who was standing by the cybercab, and what do you do? He said, I find conflicts that looked good in the CAD, but when you put it all together, don't work. And I said, like what? Give me an example. Well, a wire that we thought would be in a good spot turns out it's in a high wear position. We got to move the wire. And I mean, it's just crazy. They know what
That's
they're doing. For a long
wild.
time, the criticism was valid that, well, Tesla's not a car company. They're software guys. They don't know how to build cars. Those days are over.
Yeah, especially because they have multiple generations now. And
Yeah.
then even the design team, right? Like we got to hang out like 3 weeks ago. We went and shot out some bulletproof glass with Franz, Collier, and Terran Tactical. But guess who came? It was Franz and the whole design team for Cybertruck.
The whole
But
design team.
guess, like, it was like 10 of them. And guess who they're hanging out? Guess what team they're on now? They're on Optimus. And so it's like, yeah, it's crazy. So it's pretty much like the whole team flipped from Cybertruck now is on Optimus. And it's just like, can you imagine? Okay, we got to think vehicles. Now it's like designing a robot is completely different in a lot of ways.
Right.
I mean, unless you think that the Tesla car is a robot, which it is, but like just designing a humanoid robot is so much different. And but now I guess what I'm trying to say is that Tesla recruits a foundation of a type of employee that can be transferable to new markets, to new designs, to new products. They don't hire people that are just like, let's just bring in the best, I don't know, two-door vehicle engineer, right? It's like, no, they want an engineer that can think about problem solving no matter what problem they're given, right? And that's what makes their talent very unique. All right, guys. So we're getting down to the wire here. Just a quick shout out to the supercharging team. That's really the charging team, because 6.7 terawatts, I believe that's the word, right? Something like that. Terawatt hours in 2025. And I believe it was Max who said that they are just starting in so many ways, right? Like even though they've created pretty much the gas station for EVs now, all the other car companies, a lot of those cars can now actually charge at the supercharger. But as Tesla put out some more vehicles, and some of these other companies who aren't giving up on EVs, like BMW, Mercedes, and even GM, who is putting out, I think it's the Chevy Volt again, and even Equinox as well. Like they will be using it. So really, really big deal for them. But I think, yeah, I guess I don't know. Do you guys want to jump into the upbeat, or do you guys want to? Okay, let's do it. All right, Joe, what's the upbeat?
Oh, it's where we all dance a jig and no, I'm just kidding. No, so the upbeat is we're gonna do a quick fire rapid succession to see what everybody's opinions are about these topics. Go.
All right, ready, set, go. Brian. Performance, yes,
It's so ridiculous. Well, first of all, the slowest Lamborghini, but that's fine. This is a grocery getter that can out track anybody, and it's ridiculous. I got to drive one, John, as you know. Joe, you were there as well at the toy drive that we did last month. It was a lot of fun, and it's got all the comfort, it's got all the safety, it's got all the smoothness, and unlike a lot of performance cars, it's a good everyday driver and a ridiculous performer.
100%, and it can beat a $300,000 grocery driver as well. All right, Hans, to you. Boring progress in Vegas.
It is super boring that you don't have to be stuck in traffic along the Las Vegas Strip if you want to go from here to there or anywhere. And I'm just excited about the progress of Boring Tunnels and the Boring Company. They're getting so close to being able to beat Gary the Snail. And once, like, it just the future of transportation, there's going to be lots of big changes. But being able to go 3D in tunnels beneath the ground in cities is going to be a game changer for high traffic areas. And it's just great to see continued progress by the team.
100%. All right, Joe, the War Department adopts XAI.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome. They've been this is should have always be a thing, right? But but now they're into the next phase. It shows here that of America's AI arsenal, and XAI is leading that helm, and that's pretty awesome to see. I think that you have posted a thing on Christmas about how Grok is just like ahead of like all the companies and just leading like number one in like a lot of stats, and you see it, and then you realize like, well, there's a reason for this on the backside. I'm sure Hans can speak to this, but like all the freaking the network that they created and the just the brain that they built for it is like insane. So it's pretty awesome to see this happening.
Yeah, and with that, right, like what makes Elon's Grok just so different, right, is now it's being integrated into Tesla. It's being integrated into the humanoid robots and the cars. Neuralink as well. It's already being used. We've seen it with I know Brad and a lot of the other patients are using it as well. And then it's going to be integrated somehow into SpaceX with the AI data centers and other things that it's going to be doing, right? So and no one else is going to have models that have the integration of all of those type of data sets, along with living on the most real-time platform on the planet. And we saw that even in the past week when stuff broke about some of the fraud that was happening. But just like I said, it's like that's what's going to be really unique about this. But all right, Joe, that one was to you. Now, all right, Brian, Elon globetrotting again.
There are a lot of smaller markets that are harder to get into for a variety of reasons. But if you go out and talk to those people, you can strike a deal. I was talking with Peggy earlier today. Tesla's not in Kuwait. Why? Well, because they have a local ownership requirement, which you can circumvent by just having dealerships where the dealer is at least 51% owner. Tesla's not playing that game. But they can get into more countries by just saying, look, do you want the cars or not? I think that's what we're seeing now. And that's just for the one part. That's just for getting your foot in the door with auto sales. Then you've got autonomy. Then you've got all the other things too. So yeah, get out there, shake some hands.
All right, sorry, I was talking on mute. Macro hard from space. Hans, to you.
So I think there was something that Elon posted where they had video of the XAI data center there with macro hard on top that had all the fireworks and stuff at night. And so I don't know if that is what he was referring to here. This is going to be a crazy thing. Talk about, applications of Grok being able to basically produce intelligent software on the fly that it's basically the pixels on your screen through a neural network to whatever controls that you want to do and whatever you want to accomplish. It's like a complete redefinition of what software even is. And it's crazy. the world that we're heading into is pretty mind melting to think about in a lot of ways, and this isn't making it any easier.
Yeah, I mean,
Well said.
the expansion that's happening over at XAI, I mean, like I said, I mean, we've just talked about the data sets that they're going to be dealing with and that they are currently dealing with, and they do not want to make compute an issue. And so they're like, hey, let's go even macro harder. Let's go even harder than we already are. And I think they said by Q2, they're going to double, I think, the amount of GPUs that they have, something insane like that. But yeah, it's crazy, guys. I mean, exciting times, especially here in the Elon world. And I will say that the companies are converging at a higher rate than I would have ever in from what we've seen, whether it's SpaceX, XAI. SpaceX is potentially going public next or this year. I guess it's not even next year; it's this year. And Elon's kind of pretty much confirmed it. And then the stuff that is going on with XAI and Tesla, and how now it's about not even sustainable abundance; it's amazing abundance. And just seeing, I mean, we look at our Teslas today, it's the worst integration that it will have with Grok ever, right? Because it's not fully integrated. And so it's just only going to get better as this becomes the Siri of our cars, right? And yeah, it's exciting times. But with that, we have officially ended our first episode of 2026. I hope you guys all had a great holiday season. I can't believe it's kind of like we really got to start the next year. Holidays are over. But make sure you give all of our co-hosts a follow. They are tagged on X. And thank them for their time, patronize them. And we will catch you guys all, I think, next week. We will see. I know, Brian, you'll be in transit. But outside of that, thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you guys next week. Happy New Year, and see you all in next Friday.